About 1 in the afternoon, the enemy appeared, advancing from behind a small hill in our front. They came on with great fury and in very good order, shouting and hallooing as they approached. The Highlanders threw off their plaids and discharged their pieces, but receiving a very hot fire from our front line, they ran on with their swords and targes, endeavouring to break our ranks. I observed them come on like madmen, shouting their accursed war cries and waving their broadswords over their heads. Their right, which attacked our left, met with the fiercest fire and were cut down in heaps. Whole ranks were swept away by the grapeshot and musket fire. Their centre attempted to pierce the line where Barrel's and Monro's regiments stood. For a moment, I thought they might break through, so determined was their charge. But our men stood firm and bayoneted them as they pressed forward. The blood ran down the field in rivulets. I remember one Highlander, tall and fierce, making it to the very muzzle of a cannon before being blown backwards by the blast. In less than an hour, the field was ours. The rebels broke and fled, pursued mercilessly. I confess the sight was ghastly. Bodies torn by cannon, limbs scattered, the moor soaked in blood. Many of the wounded cried for mercy, but the order was strict. None were to be spared. I saw His Royal Highness, the Duke, ride among the dead, calm and commanding. He gave orders to pursue and finish the business, and it was done. The moor was strewn with the fallen. Never had I seen such slaughter. That night we camped near the field. Fires burned, and the wounded howled in the dark. I could scarcely sleep, so shaken was I by what I had seen. War, I then realized, is not all glory, but a terrible and bloody business.
When the day broke, the rain had not ceased, and we were cold, hungry, and without sleep. Many had thrown away their plaids during the night march, and their powder was damp. Our men were exhausted, and still we formed line upon that cursed moor. I stood behind the front ranks near Lord George Murray. He gave his orders firmly, though I could see in his face he knew our peril. The ground was soft and uneven, our artillery small and ill-placed. Across the field, the redcoats stood in fine order, fresh and fed. Their cannon began to fire before ours were even ready. The balls tore through our lines. I saw heads burst, limbs severed. Still, the Highlanders held. Then, with a great cry, they charged. God, what courage! They flew forward like wolves, swords drawn, but they met a storm of grapeshot and musket fire that shattered them. I saw Clan Chatton surge ahead, their tartans flashing through the smoke, only to fall in rows. Our right was mown down before they could close. The centre charged with desperate bravery, but was met by bayonets. The left never moved. Confusion reigned. I tried to carry a message toward the rear, but men were fleeing already. A cannonball struck near me, and the earth shook. The screams of the wounded filled the air. There was no rallying them. The field became a slaughterhouse. I wept as I ran, ashamed and terrified. I glimpsed the prince once, riding with the Irish piquets, calling for order. But it was lost. All was lost. He was persuaded to leave the field before he was taken. I believe had he stayed, he would have died with us. I made for Inverness by a back way, through bog and thorn. Behind us, the cries of the dying were unceasing. Many who could not flee were bayoneted where they lay. The Duke's men showed no mercy. It was not a battle, it was an execution. We had fought for a dream, and it died there on the moor.